My husband's ex-wife crashed our honeymoon and he let her stay. I just found out why when my husband's ex-wife showed up at our honeymoon resort by coincidence. I was furious. When he insisted she join us for dinner, I was confused. When I discovered they'd been meeting secretly for years, I finally understood why our marriage felt like it was always missing something. Jake and I had been married for exactly 4 days when I saw her across the hotel lobby in Bali. Meredith Pern, his ex-wife of 7 years. Pern standing there in a sundress like she belonged in our honeymoon story. What an amazing coincidence, Jake said, hugging her while I stood frozen beside our luggage. Coincidence, right? That night, Jake insisted we invite her to dinner. It would be rude not to, he explained, as if I was the unreasonable one for wanting my honeymoon to actually be about us. At dinner, they reminisced about their past vacations while I pushed food around my plate. When Jake excused himself to take a call, Meredith leaned forward. He still orders the same wine we used to drink in Napa, she said, swirling her glass. Some things never change. I wanted to hate her, but there was something sad in her eyes, part on like she knew something I didn't. The next morning, Jake suggested we all go snorkeling together when I refused. He seemed genuinely shocked. I thought you wanted to make friends with her, he said, as if befriending my husband's ex-wife during our honeymoon was on my bucket list. That afternoon, I went to the spa alone while they went sailing. I scrolled through our wedding photos, wondering how I'd ended up here. When I returned to our room, I found Jake's phone charging on the nightstand. I am not proud of what I did next, but sometimes intuition screams louder than your better judgment. His text messages with Meredith went back years, pairs-long weekly conversations, secret meetups for coffee, inside jokes I wasn't part of. The most recent, can't wait to see you in Bali. She'll never suspect anything. When Jake returned, sunburned and smiling, I was sitting on the balcony with his phone on the table between us. How long, I asked. It's not what you think, he started, the familiar beginning of every guilty explanation. We're not sleeping together, he continued. We never stopped being friends. I just knew you wouldn't understand. Understand what? That you've been lying to me our entire relationship. He sat down suddenly, looking exhausted. Meredith and I couldn't make it work romantically, but she's been my best friend since college. When we started dating, you seemed so insecure about her that I thought it would be easier to just keep that part separate. So you've been living a double life for 3 years. Not a double life, just compartmentalizing. That night, I met Meredith alone at the hotel bar. She ordered us both tequila. I never meant to hurt you, she said. I thought he told you we were still friends. He told me you hated each other and never spoke, I replied. She laughed bitterly. Jake always tries to make everyone happy, even when it means lying to everyone. I flew home the next morning, leaving Jake to finish our honeymoon with the woman he couldn't let go of, not because they were having an affair, but because because he'd built a life where he needed us both patient and thought he could have everything without consequences. Jake wants to work things out, but I've realized something important. I don't want to share my husband with a ghost, and I deserve someone who doesn't need to compartmentalize their love. Sometimes the betrayal isn't about who they're sleeping with, it's about who they're truly themselves with.